If your marriage feels tired, not broken, this episode is for you because most couples don't need dramatic conversations or massive change. They need a reset, a way to interrupt stress, drift, and emotional distance before it hardens. And in this episode, we're walking you through how one intentional week can restore clarity, connection, and emotional safety without pressure or overwhelm, because momentum matters more than intensity. If you've ever found yourself thinking, why do we keep having the same argument? Or why does connection feel harder than it used to? You're not alone. Welcome to Marriage, Intimacy and Healing with Andrew and Lara.
We're a husband and wife team, blending science-based coaching and clinical nervous system insight to help couples understand what's really happening underneath conflict, distance, and emotional shutdown.
I'm Lara. I'm an ICF PCC certified coach and educator.
And I'm Andrew, a licensed physical therapist specializing in body, mind, heart integration with extensive experience helping high-performing individuals navigate stress, communication, and emotional regulation.
Together, we help you recognize the patterns that pull you apart and offer practical, grounded shifts that bring you back into connection. Let's dive into today's episode. No one likes a big, heavy, 3-hour heated conversation because everything got to the point where it was just all imploding and exploding. And I'm sure you can relate. Do you like having a nice 3-hour conversation with me to fix something that we could have fixed in small micro moments?
Yeah, well, it just seems overwhelming. I'd much rather do something in the yard.
Because what happens, guys, is that couples often think repair is that. That repair is a big, long, heavy conversation when you're tired and overloaded and it's uncomfortable. But what about couples, and let me give you this thought, who shift through small intentional resets? What does that look like? Little tiny micro resets, maybe over the course of a week instead of a 3-hour conversation. We're going to break it down. So how does the body respond better when we look at it over the week rather than a big, heavy 3-hour thing?
Well, if we talk about the body, our nervous system will react with large, intense moments and intensity in some sort of conversation or a moment in our life. So it will react larger to that than smaller, more consistent and more relatable and that feel easier and natural moments that happen in our life.
It's the principle of habits, isn't it? And we've looked at a lot of this, particularly through the very viral book Atomic Habits, that it's those small little micro habits that are healthier and easier, actually, just easier than trying to do everything all at once. And the same principle is...
Yeah, it's breaking apart that idea that changing a big habit is overwhelming, and so we can break it apart to be very easy, relatable, and easy to achieve steps, and we reward ourselves for the little steps, then we're going to more likely reach that in whatever time.
So an example of this is my daughter was overwhelmed with her violin practice. And this is a metaphor for what most of us do is these big, long, and I say 3 hours, but goodness, guys, it can go on for days, these intense, heated conversations where you try to fix everything at once. So the metaphor here is that my daughter was overwhelmed with violin practice, and I said, you are better off doing 5 minutes a day than you are trying to do 30 minutes or 20 minutes or some big thing, or maybe the teacher's given her a list of 6 steps. You are better off doing 1 step a day rather than trying to do 6 steps a day, no matter what your teacher's told you. And the science here is that the micro little tiny step towards breaking down that big pile of practice is more momentum building and better for the nervous system. And what often happens is when you give yourself permission to do that 5 minutes of exercise instead of 30 minutes, or you give yourself permission to do that 5 minutes of practice, you will feel good and sometimes naturally do more, but you've given yourself mentally an opt-out. So this might look like things like instead of the 3-minute talk, I might set myself with my spouse 5 minutes every day to reconnect. We'll come back to that and teach you a little more on that. This is all through research. So behavior momentum research states that smaller repeated actions outperform big efforts every single time. But often we don't apply this to how we argue and how we repair. Couples actually stall when change feels overwhelming. You just go into, I think, freeze mode in that nervous system, fight, flight, faint, fawn, freeze. And you stop trying to fix anything because it just is too overwhelming. So consistency is what I want to call out. Consistency restores trust faster than intensity.
So these micro moments are much more achievable, but a lot more rewarding and probably a lot more easy to get a good result, rather than dealing with a bigger thing that means we need to deal with a lot of emotional baggage, a lot of past things, a lot of those things. It's harder to feel like, am I going to face that mountain rather than this small little mound that we can get over and say, okay, we did that, well done. So little moments where we've trained our nervous system to deal with that and we did well, we get a success, our nervous system will respond well to that and want to go and achieve it again. We go for the mountain, and if we fail or we don't only get a small way up, our nervous system says, oh,
too hard basket.
Makes it a bigger mountain, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the truth of how our nervous system acts, and that probably helps us understand why these things feel so hard. Predictability, it reduces that relational threat. So I see it like this too. Some guys might, or some of you might really respond to how I'm talking a little more vulnerably. If I come to something that's probably harder for our relationship, I'll straight away think I'm a failure, or this will lead into my sense that I'm a failure. I'm not doing that well. I'm not good at this and this and this and this and this. And I won't think of all the wonderful things that I have or I've done or achieved. But so that's a perceived threat that I can see. And so that's part of the overwhelm. It's part of many, many things. And Lara's talked about it, but the baggage and the many things that take up and make up our past. So just know that our nervous system is going to be in threat mode when it's facing this. So we can achieve those little mounds of success, then it's going to go a whole lot better. A whole week of this safety data for our nervous system is a powerful thing when it comes to keeping on going and building on that and providing that. 1 or 2 days won't provide as stronger data for our body, or it won't as a bigger effect on our body as a whole week. And there's a lot of research towards that with strengthening and with a whole load of other factors in our body that it relates to. So that whole week has just got a stronger, more longevity. There's more longevity to it.
If consistency is outperforming intensity, which means consistent everyday little moments rather than that big 3-4 hour chat, particularly when you're tired, let's look at a 1 week reset for your marriage. If you are in a place as you're listening where you're like, it is overwhelming, you are speaking to me, you're reading my mail, I feel like the only solution is a big long chat, we got to have it, it's like pending doom. It's probably better to go, okay, let's do a 1 week marriage reset where every day we plan it and we do something micro. For example, it might look like, and you're welcome to steal this, that day 1 to 3, you just regulate stress. That might be like, we are intentionally in the evening going to do something to calm our nervous system, whether that is a hot bath and then a quick check-in, or whether it is we're going to sit together and just be together. It could be just personal, like I'm going to calm myself and my stress, because really the stress you're going through in your own lives, then compounded with the stress that you have in your marriage together, creates one big mound of stress. So maybe day 1 to 3, regulate the stress. Maybe day 4 to 5 could be a gentle reconnection. Like we're not there yet. Maybe we're really angry at each other, but we're just going to do one micro reconnection. An example of that might be to go to andrewandlara.com and download the BMH Marriage Reset. And that is just a simple 3-minute body, mind, heart reset you can do quickly. Maybe day 4 and 5, you just do that, a gentle reconnection. And then day 6 and 7 might be reflect and reset expectations. It could be that you decide, I'm just going to, for a couple of minutes, and if you need a timer, put on a timer. Don't do everything. Don't try and unpack everything. Just say, I've been feeling like this. Use I language. It's basic 101 relationship psychology, not you. Just I've been feeling sad, or I've been feeling shame, or I've been feeling fear. really quick little way to do that, and then just reset the expectations a little bit together. What does that look like? And stay away from telling them what they're doing wrong until maybe you've tried some of that. And this works is because a short time horizon, like a short week rather than everything all at once, lowers resistance and it builds momentum. You're creating safety, and then it might go longer than the week. Of course, for many marriages, it needs to go longer than the week. But the hope here that I want to give you is that repair doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require one big, long conversation and repairing in one night. It actually needs direction. Direction is a momentum thing. Instead of going, wow, this big pile we have to clean up in one afternoon. I do this with my daughter. You have a lot of washing to put away, babe. Let's start with 20 pieces. So I've 20 pieces of clothes. I give her direction, which creates momentum. 20 today, 20 tomorrow, and she suddenly, oh, that's not so overwhelming. So what would change if you focused on repair rather than performance, as in I need to perform and get everything fixed and then act perfectly after this conversation? What would happen if you focused on repair being a micro thing you do over many days intentionally, not accidentally? It doesn't just happen. I'm talking plan it.
I like that because it's that idea. I've felt this a lot, is that if I'm perfect for the vision of Lara of what I've understood so far in our relationship, if I'm perfect to what I can see she needs, then we're going to have a great time and she's not going to get upset. Everything's good. But it's more about connection. It's more about that. It's not so much I get myself everything all right, so it's all perfect, so I'll get through all those things like you just explained, but that we come to each other and we can just ease off each other, and it's more of like a interchange. So it's more of that relationship. But that's some of these things that are just wrapped back behind. We don't realize we're thinking that we've got to get all this perfect sort of package for her ready, but it's more about the interchange. I like the week component because the first few days of maybe I just focus on some things for me to calm my nervous system, whatever that looks like, and Lara, and I can be in that small bit of time or longer bit of time, whatever works for you, be preparing and thinking about what's coming up for me and what is hard for me to express. I'm not gonna blurt it out that night, and just like that, I'm gonna help just to get that together in my head. I need that time myself for sure. And then those reconnection times, there's the day 4 or 5 she mentioned, that can be focused on me coming to her and then asking what's going on for you, and I just want to connect you. How was your day? And it gets me to focus on you, because when there's a big thing for us to go through, then often we'll come with all this baggage of like, I'm feeling hurt about XYZ, and I come to her and it just blurts all out. So if we can get this process through the week, it get these micro moments, and we approach this a lot more gradually, and it's really intentional. It's so powerful.
Thank you guys for coming with us for another episode of Marriage, Intimacy and Healing. Don't forget to subscribe, whatever platform you're on, so you don't miss an episode, and share this with a friend. And if this kind of work is meaningful to you and you love to give tax deductibly, you can go to creativerestorationinternational.com, where you can consider becoming a monthly financial supporter of marriage, healing and intimacy, the work that we are doing to help marriages all around the world to repair. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for joining us on today's Marriage, Intimacy and Healing. If this episode supported you, we'd love for you to download our free 3-minute BMH marriage reset at andrewandlara.com. It's the quickest way to shift out of stress and back into connection. And for deeper support and to explore our resources and coaching, you can find everything at andrewandlara.com.
Before you go, following the show or sharing this episode with another couple really helps more people find this kind of support, and we're so grateful when you do.
We're Andrew and Lara, and we'll see you next week.